Quinter, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Across the country, school board meetings have become the latest front in the national battle over masks.
If you would mind putting your pants back on for a comment, that would be appreciated.
We know who you are. We know who you are. Keep it calm. No more masks. Keep it calm. Keep it calm.
In Leon County, Florida, the debate over masking students intensified last week after the school superintendent saw increasing student cases and then decided to buck the governor's ban on mask mandates.
If you don't have to follow the governor's executive order, why would our children have to follow your mandate?
Why do kids get forced to wear a mask if it doesn't even work? And this is what I think of a mask.
A majority of Floridians do support requiring masks in schools for students, teachers, and staff. But an executive order that Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law says that parents should have the final say. Cases in Florida are some of the worst of the entire pandemic. Nearly a dozen other counties are defying DeSantis, and now a local judge is backing school officials.
It's not about politics. I'm not in a verbal spat with the president. I'm not running for re-election. I'm not thinking about running for president. I'm simply trying to keep our kids healthy, safe, and keep our schools open.
Did anything today change your mind about your decision to require these masks?
No, it's absolutely the right thing to do. The governor has a position, we have a position. It's my responsibility to protect the safety of the children here in our community, and I'm going to do just that. And I'm the only elected superintendent who's taken this action, and I'm well aware of the potential consequences of losing my pay, potentially being removed from office. But at the end of the day, I'm protecting all of our children.
The anti-mask parents are a small but vocal minority here. Only about 10% of parents have tried to opt their kids out of wearing them.
What is it about the masks that you don't like?
Well, for my girls, I don't like because I think there were some health issues for them. And also beyond that, I support the legislation that was passed this summer for the Parent Bill of Rights, which we have a right under that to make the decisions for our kids, for their mental and medical health.
Are you worried at all that your kids might get sick at school and get coronavirus?
They could, but they could get the flu, they can get the cold. There's a lot of things I feel like, that they could get sick. And again, with my daughter, 8 years, a rare disease, we as her parents have made her medical decisions thus far, and we do what we feel like is in her best interest and, take risks that we feel like are okay to take, and we make our decisions based on that. And I think that's our right as her parents and our other daughter's parent.
But the mask wars are about much more than stopping COVID. Republicans around the country, from Congress to local races, are stoking anger over masks for political advantage. It could work. In 2010, lies about Obamacare and so-called death panels helped clear the way for a midterm Tea Party wave in Congress. The 2022 midterms are just around the corner, and DeSantis is up for re-election in Florida next year. That's not lost on some parents in Tallahassee.
Do you think that Governor DeSantis put out that executive order a few months ago because of politics?
Yes. He knows his base. He knows the people who put him there. He has presidential ambitions, and he knows he has to appeal to the same base as Donald Trump.
Republicans in Florida see an advantage too. Florida's Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran is executing DeSantis' directive, even withholding pay from some school officials going against the governor.
I've always heard that Republicans, conservatives are about small government, letting local government decide. Isn't the governor's executive order kind of contrary to that? Why not let these school officials, superintendents, some of whom are elected, decide what's best for their communities?
The most greatest, most powerful, most informed, best local government is a parent. And what the governor has said is we're going to give that parental right, that parental choice. It's in our Constitution.
Last week in Florida, there were 20,000 new coronavirus cases in people under age 12. An additional 17,000 new cases were reported from people aged 12 to 19. Is it acceptable for students in the state to get sick because their school didn't do everything possible to protect them?
First of all, in many districts just opened Monday. All right, so those statistics were well before our larger districts opened. What happened is it's these kids coming into the school system and coming in COVID positive and giving COVID to other kids. And a reason that happens a lot with kids and not so much with adults is because there's so many of them are asymptomatic. And so they come in, they don't know it, they don't even showing signs and symptoms, and then it hits, 3 or 4 other kids. So you're going to see that. And what we have with the Delta variant is it's much more infectious. So we're seeing higher numbers, especially with kids. There's teachers out there that are saying, here's the things that we're going to do, whether it's sanitation, whether it's social distancing, those things that matter. They really matter. What doesn't really matter is masks.
So just to be clear, you are saying you haven't seen any evidence or studies that show that masking kids helps keep them safe?
No, tell me one.
I'm asking you. I'm not the commissioner.
But I'm telling you, we've been at this for 18 months, but it just feels like Groundhog Day. It's like people, we were here last year, same thing, same paranoia, same, outrage, everything. I mean, I don't want to be conspiratorial because there's too much of that going on in America. But when $0 of $42 billion is spent and none of it to study masks in children, I think it's because the general medical community knows they don't work.